Welcome to the Plant Based Podcast. Did you know that plants are truly amazing? Not only can you grow them and eat them, you can also wear them, drink them, nourish your skin with them, and so much more. Let Ellen and Michael inspire you to love plants as much as they do, as they chat with the movers and shakers in this wonderful plant-based world. So, let's dig in.
Hello and welcome to the Plant Based Podcast, brought to you by me, Ellen Mary, and Michael Perry. We should all be cautious of caring for our environment and making small, sustainable changes in our daily lives. So why not start by making delicious changes? Stoneleigh Wines create their premium wine in New Zealand, and it's made from 100% sustainably sourced grapes, and it's vegan certified. Stoneleigh Sauvignon Blanc expresses the vibrancy and fresh flavours of the Marlborough region through their minimal intervention winemaking philosophy and collaboration with nature. We have a unique discount for our listeners. You can get 20% off Stoneleigh Sauvignon Blanc exclusively on Amazon using the code STONELEIGH20, STONELEIGH20.
Welcome to the Plant Based Podcast News,
your horticultural news roundup for the week.
The Great Garden Trail is back for 2023 in Suffolk. Gardens across the county are opening in aid of St Elizabeth Hospice from April through to September. It includes whole villages and beautiful hidden gems across this fine county. Visit the website for a full map and details.
The Devon Wildlife Trust is looking for people to take part in a free scheme that rewards entrants for making gardens more wildlife friendly. So entries can be made as an individual, a school, a community group, or a business. All you need to do is have a space that you want to transform into a mini nature haven. To qualify for a Wildlife Gardening Award, you have to complete 10 simple tasks from a list of wildlife-friendly actions. And you can find out more about that on the Devon Wildlife Trust's website.
Applications to design a garden at the big flower shows have opened. You could design a garden at RHS Malvern, RHS Chelsea, or RHS Hampton Court shows. Visit the RHS website to find out more information. This could be a dream come true.
Some female prisoners are being offered horticultural work, which is aimed at increasing their skills and their chances of gaining employment on release from prison. The Glasshouse works with women on day release from East Sutton Park Prison, which is near Maidstone in Kent. They're paid the living wage, and the plants they produce are also sold to businesses and people who visit the shop. And inmates have said that the project has helped prepare them for life after prison.
And some good news. Exeter Council have recently announced it will stop spraying glyphosate as a weed killer on the city's highways. Now, the council says glyphosate will only be used when absolutely necessary, for example, with highly invasive and damaging weeds.
The Society of Garden Designers is campaigning to raise awareness of the extreme environmental damage which is caused by plastic grass and plants, and to encourage the landscape industry and the public to say no to using it. This has the full support of the Royal Horticultural Society and the Landscape Institute as well. So garden designers, landscapers, or thinking about laying artificial turf yourself in your own garden, the Society of Garden Designers Say No to Plastic Grass and Plants campaign will debunk the claims that these products are harmless and provides ideas and advice on using beautiful natural solutions instead. If you'd like to find out more, check out the campaign at sgd.org.uk.
Hey guys, it's Michael here. This is the first of one of our news-style news episodes, actually. Ellen and I realised that if we were going to gossip with you guys weekly, we're not actually that interesting. So we're going to gossip every fortnight. So when we have an official interview, that will then have a gossip on the end. When we have the news episode, which is every other week, there will be a solo interview. So this week I've gone out and I've talked to Alex Schoemaker about his hydrangeas. So it's all about how to prune your hydrangeas, how he breeds them, etc., etc. In 2 weeks' time, Ellen will be here with her solo episode. I don't know who she's going to talk to, but it better be good. So I'm going to leave you with my lovely, lovely chat with Alex as we chatted about the gorgeous ice cream hydrangeas. If you don't know what they are, then keep listening. See you soon, guys. Cool, I'm here today at Living Creations Nursery in Boskoop in the Netherlands, and I'm with Alex Schoemaker. And I've actually been here because I'm starting to create some content with these guys, showing you how to prune hydrangeas, how to use lots of different hydrangeas here and there as well, mainly paniculata hydrangeas. So I want to welcome Alex onto the recording. How you doing?
Well, thank you very much, Michael.
You're having a very busy day today, aren't you?
Thank you very much for visiting us and to talk about pruning the Hydrangea paniculata.
Yeah.
So today it was a wonderful day, right?
Yeah.
Sunshine.
Yeah. Really good sun.
Really cold.
Yeah, definitely. So tell me everything, because I dealt with you a little bit when I was at Thomson & Morgan, bringing in a lot of the newer varieties here and there. But you're only working with the paniculata. You're breeding, you're growing. But take me right back to where it started, because you grew up in this area, in Boskoop.
Yeah.
Were you growing up on a plant nursery?
Yes.
What was your heritage?
Well, I'm a sixth-generation nurseryman, actually. Mm-hmm. So our company goes way back. And in the old days, real craftsmanship was your USP, actually, right? So each and every nurseryman in Boskoop has his own specialties, a very large assortment, with maybe a couple of hundred varieties or species. When I took over the company, I brought it back to give more focus on the product. So at that time, we might have 12 varieties. But still, we weren't special enough, actually. So, and then I decided to focus just on Hydrangea paniculata because it's such a fantastic product. Everybody enjoys them. They're winter hardy, they're easy to maintain, they can withstand severe winters. So we just dive into that product and try to be the best which we could be, right? So from that point on, we were specialized in Hydrangea paniculata. So we created a show garden with every Hydrangea paniculata to get to know the whole assortment.
So even from all around the world? Different types, all different sizes, different shades.
Yeah. So from then on, we get to know the whole assortment. We start growing the Hydrangea paniculata, full flower in pots, and sell it to garden centers, supermarkets, DIYs all over Europe, actually. And then new varieties came on the market. I'm thinking about 2005, 2006, 2007.
Was this Limelight?
No, Limelight was before that, but Limelight actually, with the Limelight, the revolution, as I call it, of the Hydrangea paniculata started, because that was actually the first one with strong, firm branches, which can hold his beautiful flower, right?
I remember selling this at Thomson & Morgan in one of the earlier kind of autumn plant catalogues.
Okay, Well, very successful plant. We grow them for many years, and it was lots of fun, actually. And we also grew a lot of other varieties. So we specialized not only in the product Hydrangea paniculata, but also in different pot sizes. We sold young plants, rooted cuttings, etc., etc. And then we came to a point where we said, okay, what cultivars do we have, and can we improve these cultivars? Does the market offer us improvements? And actually, we didn't saw any improvements in the market, but we had our wish list, right? So, for example, the vanilla fraise, it is a fantastic product, fantastic flower, but the branch is floppy, right? So then I started a breeding project, and I make a wish list with every variety. What can be better? So what can we improve, actually? So, for example, the vanilla fraise, we created a new variety. It's called Pink and Rose, from the Living Creations collection. And they have the same appearance of flowers, even bigger, and stronger stems, stronger branches, so it can hold its flower.
So you're almost putting right what was wrong with the plant.
Yeah,
which is brilliant breeding and selection. But did you have an experience of breeding before then? Like, how did you learn how to breed a new plant?
Well, we first started with a product together with the University of Wageningen, and then after 5 years, I came to an understanding with the University of Wageningen, because they quit all their activities. So their breeder, Leo Slingerland, we asked him if he can proceed his breeding in our company.
Oh, so it was right time, right place.
Yeah,
sort
right
of situation.
Time, right place.
Yeah.
So, and then it started, actually. So right now we have 1 hectare with our breeding fields, our test center where we display our own Living Creations varieties. And we have our show garden, which is up to date every year, because a lot of new varieties come in the market. And I like to be open and transparent to our customers, which are growers, but also category managers, garden centers, journalists, influencers. So just to see what is the market offering, and what do we have to offer? Can we prove we have a better product? And to get people enthusiastic about the possibilities, because the possibilities with Hydrangea paniculata are kind of endless, because you can do so much with new colors, branches, forms, small, medium, big, or early flower, late flower. But also, for example, ground cover, like a new possibility with Hydrangea paniculata.
Yeah, as a bedding plant almost. That would be cool.
Yeah. So you have to have a wide perspective, what you can try to reach, and sometimes our breeding throws something at us. Right? We are looking for something. But sometimes you get a surprise or a gift from nature, actually.
I think that's really interesting, because to a lot of people, they probably look at a paniculata hydrangea and just see a pink and white flower. They're like, how can that possibly be such variety in that family? But it really is, like you said, ground cover, upright, smaller, bigger. You say different colours, but is it possible to break those colours in different ways outside of white through to pink and white? Or
well, actually, we don't believe there ever going to be a blue paniculata, because it's just not in the genetic. Everything between white and red is possibly possible.
And what about towards cream? Maybe almost
cream,
yellow tones a little bit?
That's also possible. So cream, light green, dark green, light pink, pink, red, etc. Those are the colors that are possible.
And what about fragrance? Is there any fragrance in any of those?
Well, actually, I don't know.
Yeah, because there's fragrance in some odd hydrangea species here and there. I just wondered if there was any on this side of the genetics fence, as it were.
Well, it's a very nice idea, Michael.
Oh, there you go.
I have to
you have
smell
that one for free.
maybe I have to smell each hydrangea each morning.
Yeah. I don't know. It could be an interesting kind of new development. And also, just behind me in the office here, you've got one inside. Are you testing this as an indoor plant for the table, like a macrophylla?
Yes.
Right?
We are trying. Not 99% of the hydrangea paniculata doesn't easily force in a greenhouse. Actually, we are trying a lot of genetics to see if it's possible. But we managed to have 2 or 3 that's possible for indoor growing. So they can be a room plant first or a house plant. And afterwards you put it in your garden. Yeah. But we are still actually in the testing phase.
So that's possibly an exclusive.
Yeah.
Now, I'm here because we're going to do a lot of work with paniculata through the season. But first of all, we've been here today filming some pruning videos.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, just for the recording here, kind of a bit about how you think is the best way for a consumer to prune their paniculata to get the best out of them? Because there's a few different options, isn't there?
Well, the good news is actually the consumer hasn't got to do anything. Actually,
they can't get it wrong at the end of the day.
They can't get it
like
wrong.
With a macrophylla type, you can get it really wrong, can't you?
There's a story.
But paniculata is kind of foolproof almost.
It's foolproof. You actually don't have to cut an hydrangea, but we advise our clients, our customers to do so. We advise a hard pruning because with a hard pruning you control the hydrangea in height, and especially you get fresh branches, fresh strong branches with bigger flowers. So you can enjoy this all summer long, actually. More than 100 days.
Okay, so a few different options. You can obviously leave them as they are, but you're going to get a potentially bigger plant with smaller flowers.
That's true. They
less well formed.
They will produce more branches, more smaller branches, and smaller flowers.
And then your other option is then a light prune, which we talked about today, which is where you only take off the flower heads. But very often they'll fall off themselves, won't they? Through the season. But middle prune, which we talked about, was kind of then about 40 centimetres, which would then give you a good crop of medium-sized flowers, right?
Medium-sized flowers. They will be very bushy, a lot of branches, medium-sized flowers,
But then the best one is your hard prune, which is really, I don't know why someone would do the medium-sized prune when they can just go for the hard prune, which is a bit of a leap of faith because you're taking it right down to less than 20 centimetres. But that is ultimately giving you the biggest supported blooms, which is important, right? You have a lot of expression on the flowers, strong branches, fresh plant. They're ready to go. And when would you ideally do this? Because you do it here on the nursery in November, but I think for the consumer, if you're happy to have hydrangea flowers over the winter with the gorgeous frost and snow on top and leaving that insect habitat, then April, kind of start of spring, is a really good time.
Yeah, of course, springtime is the ideal moment to cut the hydrangea paniculata.
And ideally, a hard prune is going to give you best results, and it's kind of the easiest as well because you're just taking it right down to the base. I know that when we looked at the older, kind of quite gnarly plants earlier, about 6 years old, you can actually take them back again quite close to the base, can't you, with a saw? Is that a good idea with the older plants?
Yes, because every year you cut back the branches which they give that year, right? So every year it's going to be a little bit bigger. So could be every year 10 centimeters. So in the end you will have a hydrangea which is 50 or 50 centimeters, right? So but even then, no problem. You take a saw and just cut back the big branches, and it will start all over again. So don't worry about if they're gonna leave life or something. They will survive and they will make new shoots.
Because they're hardy down to about minus 20, aren't they? And they do grow in Siberia, don't they? Some growers there.
They're very hardy.
Wow.
The Hydrangea paniculata is actually from all hydrangea species. Do I say this correctly? I think the Hydrangea paniculata is one of the most climate tolerant hydrangeas there is.
Yeah. And so obviously if you're someone who's looking to prune your hydrangea, do it at the start of spring. What point would you be too late? You're too late when potentially the foliage starts to form, right? And at that point abandon any pruning plans that you had, right?
You have to think of it like this. So if the hydrangeas start growing with little green buds, there's no problem. You can cut it back.
Okay.
So that's springtime, right?
Yeah.
But late spring could be in foliage, and the plant is active. And if you cut the plant back at that moment, the plant could experience problems because suddenly he doesn't have his foliage to be alive, and you get some problems maybe in the roots or blah blah. So we suggest springtime cutting, springtime with green buds. It's okay, but when the foliage is on, just leave it and do it the winter or springtime after.
Okay. But interestingly, we said if you are in a warmer country, if you prune a little bit later, say into May, you'll get later flowers that can withstand the heat of the summer a little bit more.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Because, well, it's funny that you mention it, Michael, because I experienced it last year in Holland. It was very hot in July. And the aging of the flower really kicks in when it's above 30 degrees or 35 degrees. So if you do a late pruning in springtime, so for example May, when there are green buds on the branches, you might delay the flower a little bit, so they will be in flower buds somewhere in the end of July, and they can stand the heat better, and then they have full flower in August when it's more comfortable, some kind of cooler nights, etc. And then it's still flowers for 100 days. So until the night frost comes in fall.
So I guess even people in Northern Europe in the cooler climates could prune later in order to manipulate their flowering time.
In northern climate, it's different because there it's colder. They have more light. Light intensity. But the late pruning in springtime, I'm more referring to the southern part of Europe.
But if you did it in the northern part, would that have a difference, or would it create that later blooming or not?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, but
so I'm saying you could change the blooming time of your hydrangea by when you prune it, potentially. Say if you wanted your hydrangeas to look good in your late summer garden, you can make that happen.
Yeah, you can make that happen. Yeah.
We're in control. Oh, the nursery dogs are making a bit of noise now. But this is great to learn more about Hydrangea paniculata, all your different breeding, the pruning as well, which is really, really useful. But tell me a bit about the brand that you've got behind this all. It's called Living Creations, and you obviously brought this together to kind of educate the consumer on hydrangeas, kind of give you a brand identity as well. How did that come to be?
Well, we had an extraordinary product, right? So we love all Hydrangea paniculata in the world. We think are just a little bit special. How can we persuade the consumer? How can we talk about I want everybody to know the quality of this product, how they can enjoy them easily, carefree, all summer long. So we try to invent a consumer brand, a living creations that can provide the consumers with tips and tricks and the possibilities of the varieties. So we have different colors, different sizes.
And it looks good as well. It looks good on the garden centre bench. You're going to potentially notice the labels in the garden centre. I know you guys have got an Instagram and social media accounts as well, which means the customer can then interact and find out a bit more about the company as well. Because I think with my experience with shopping TV selling, like, people want to know the stories behind products. It kind of gives them more confidence. They want to know about the people behind the products as well. So I think sometimes brands are shy to tell that sort of stuff. But I saw one of your displays outside earlier where it's got the story of the nursery. And I think that should be in a garden centre. It's giving people that background info, which I think is great.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's just if somebody comes in our nursery, somebody local, right, and they buy a hydrangea, and they said, well, can we have three hydrangeas for my aunt, for example? Yeah, sure, why not? And then after 2 years, they came back and they say, do you have another 30? Yes, we saw them, and we're gonna do this and that. Those are the possibilities. So people really enjoy these hydrangeas, and we are very proud of it, and that's why we want to include the consumer with this story and the benefits of this product, so they know what they can expect.
Yeah, well, I see a lot of gardens in the Netherlands and also in UK, and I think Hydrangea paniculata are used equally in both to great degrees, because in UK you kind of have that cottage garden vibe with kind of the paniculatas amongst them, which looks great. But here you have that more orderly kind of box ball, kind of like topiary vibe with the hydrangeas, and that equally looks gorgeous. So I think they're great contemporary, and they're also great in a traditional way as well. They kind of, the plant that's got it all, really, because not only is it hardy, drought tolerant as well, because it doesn't like too much water, which sounds like the dream plant, right?
Well, hydrangea needs water, of course, because the foliage needs to be strong, and it needs water. But as I said, the Hydrangea paniculata of all hydrangea species, it's the most climate tolerant. So not only winds hardy, but also it can handle the heat better than every other hydrangea.
And doesn't want too much water, right? So it's better to put it in a drier border rather than a moist border, would you say?
Well, hydrangeas are spoiled plants. So they need water in summertime, but they don't need an overkill of water in wintertime. Okay. So when they need it, you have to have water.
So that's for creating bigger flowers, potentially, as well?
Yeah.
So water well from end of spring through to early summer is going to give you the bigger, better flowers?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about in containers? Paniculatas can be grown in containers. I know macrophylla are quite used to being in pots, but paniculata are going to work in the same way?
Yeah, it could work in the same way.
Specific varieties? Or?
Yeah, mostly the smaller varieties, which grow nice roundly, are most suitable for patio terrace pots.
Can I put one in a hanging basket? I'm an innovator. Might be cool.
Well, maybe.
Yeah? Maybe one of these cool bedding ones that you haven't told me about.
Yeah.
So how many introductions do you have each year in the range?
Well, the number of introduction is not our goal. Our goal is to do a better job tomorrow than we do today. Okay. So people can expect the best of us today, but even better tomorrow. Yeah.
Have you got that in a mug?
It's on a tile in the bathroom.
Oh, cool. I'll make sure I get to the loo before I leave.
No, we always say the best is yet to come, because we didn't stop breeding, right? So we do breeding every year. It's evolving. So this plant, which you created by crossing with two parents, for example, this plant doesn't change. But the world is changing. The climate is changing. People are changing. The gardens are changing. So every year, or every 5 years, the demand changes, and we have to follow those demands. For example, biodiversity, smaller gardens, climate tolerant, heat tolerant, colors, etc. Those are all things we look at when we make new varieties.
And how long does it take to create a variety from conception of the idea to selling to the public?
I think about 8 to 10 years.
Wow.
It takes a while. It takes a while.
And you're obviously not selling direct to the public. You're sending to growers across Europe, all around the world, and is potted as liners as well as bare root?
Yeah, bare rooted, multiplate rooted cuttings. But we sell visual plants too. And the trick is actually because we do everything with Hydrangea paniculata. So we propagate, we make young plants, we make flowery plants, we sell it to garden centers, and but we also do the breeding. That's our first step, right? Yeah. But because we do everything, we have the knowledge to see if it propagates well, to see if it branches well with young plants, to see if it grows well in a container, and to see if the sales is good. Which
perfect overview.
So, and all this knowledge we use into our breeding and selection, because breeding is all about selection, right? So you have to throw. Sometimes you have to throw everything away.
But I guess you have to select twice, because surely if you select a variety that looks really cool and different and unique, what if that then doesn't produce well? You know, is that then hard to let that variety go?
No, then there's still a job to do. Because, we see benefits in this product, but the propagation is not well, or the branching is not well. So then we do a second generation breeding, or a third, or a fourth.
So you reselect on that variety.
We just
to make it a stronger grower once you've got that distinctive line.
We use this breeding actually to do a better job in the future.
Okay. And what would you say out of your whole range has been your best seller over the years? Have you got like a flagship variety?
Oh yes, we have many flagship varieties, but
you got to choose one, just one.
Well, if I got to choose one, it's difficult. It's difficult. I think my favorite would be a Little Rosie or the Colorful Cocktail.
Super. Oh. And what would you be most excited about for the future? Maybe this bedding type?
Bedding type is nice, but we want a whole range of hydrangeas, which is that people love, right? So we want green, we want cream, we want white, we want light pink, dark pink, red. We want to have the whole collection, so people can enjoy whatever they prefer. Actually. So we want small, we want big, we want early, we want late. So it's a fun journey actually.
Definitely. It's a really, really interesting breeding program that you've got here, and I love that you've got your passion for such a some people might see a niche area.
I saw you punching one of our hydrangeas last year.
That made a very successful reel, I have to say. But you should see what I've been doing on them this morning. We made a bed with the hydrangea cuttings afterwards. Because that's another thing I wanted to ask, actually. As a cut flower, paniculata hydrangeas last long in a vase, or?
We tried it. For the consumer, they can put it in a vase, and it probably is nice 7-8 days, maybe. And professionally, 2 weeks.
And that's not long enough for that market?
Could be, but it's difficult.
What if you bash the stem? I remember my grandparents, we used to bash the stem of chrysanthemums because they're very woody. So that might help to draw the water up a bit more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe. Have you never bashed a stem before?
No. I'm going to try.
But that could be interesting because I can't help. I have to say, I pruned your whole hydrangea bed today as we were making the content.
Much, Michael.
But I've left all the rubbish on the lawn. But though the blooms that we cut off, they're still in such good condition, and we're kind of in early March, and obviously, we're leaving it as late as possible because the insects are hibernating. But once these are cut off, these are amazing cut flowers, and I couldn't help thinking, is there not a market to sell those somewhere? I know they're obviously decaying flowers, but even in their natural colours, they're gorgeous. You can maybe spray them. Because they're a cut bloom, so we're not spraying live plants here. But it could be a market for those,
Yeah.
Extra bit of money in your pocket.
We actually tried. We actually tried to cut some dark pink flowers in, let's say, October, and then we hang them up to dry.
Yeah,
and then they keep their color just about. It turned into purple actually, or red purple. And then you'll have it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So I have them at home.
Yeah.
So dried flowers, be a market.
Well, no, might as well make use of the offcuts, as it were.
Yeah, that's true.
Super. Wow. Thank you very much for chatting today on the recording. It's been really fun to learn more about your breeding here at Living Creations Nursery in Boskoop in the Netherlands, and just find out more about what's to come as well.
Thank you very much, Michael. And I'm very enthusiastic about our cooperation.
Yeah, looking forward to good season work with you guys, finding out more and sharing that with followers as well.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hey, no worries.
And I hope to see you this summer and to see how your cutted hydrangeas are doing.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, man. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Be sure to check out our sponsor, Stoneleigh Wines. Their premium wines in New Zealand are made from 100% sustainably sourced grapes, and they're vegan certified. Our favourite, the Stoneleigh Sauvignon Blanc, displays fresh and varietally true aromas of passion fruit and vibrant citrus and crisp notes. Yummy. We have an exclusive discount for listeners, and you can get 20% off Stoneleigh Sauvignon Blanc exclusively on Amazon when you use the code Stoneleigh20. The music for the Plant Based Podcast is part of the song Grow by Mikey James, and our editor is Gareth Patch of Semi Echo.